Guys, what's going on? When I contemplated the direction that I was going to take, which potential path I shall take next when it comes to this channel, I decided that I should incorporate more current events. The hard thing about that when it comes to me is that I do not like discussing people. I hate name dropping. So, in order for me to even do this, for this to come to fruition, it is with the understanding that I am personally trying to find takeaways in the things that I discuss. I am not big on gossip. Sometimes I will have to blur the lines and get fairly close to what it means to gossip. I do not like to be in people's business, but if there is something that you can take away from it, then fine. Because the fact of the matter is, what is popular and what is being passed along isn't necessarily the greatest for our souls, the greatest for our well-being. And you all know that, whether consciously, subconsciously, you understand. Um, you understand that very much so. You don't turn to most entertainment so you can get enriched logically, so you can leave with some takeaways. Now, there's obviously a chance that you will get that, and you know, thanks to people on the internet, not like myself, because I try not to do that too much, but soon. But a lot of people on the internet, they extract the messages from art and gossip and current events, what's popular, and so I'll try my best to do this. And also another reason why I'm choosing to speak on this is from personal experience. So that's always cool to speak on when you're talking about personal experience. I'll be doing a lot more live streams. If you want to know how you can help me out, you just like the video. Soon as you come on in, like it, comment as much as you want. You know, talk to me about something. I'll be doing more of these because I just like the interface. I like being able to talk to people in pretty much real time because I spend a great deal of my day not talking, just being by myself. You know, so it'd be good to interact this way. Um, Give me a bunch of great ideas. But anyway, the art of deflection. Now, depending on when you see this, you see that what my thumbnail is, and I have to go back and edit the description. But anyway, so if you don't know, if you've been under a rock, or if you just don't care, which I understand more than anything, Snoop Dogg made news based on his response to something that was said by Gayle King on CBS and what appeared to be kind of an interrogation of Kobe Bryant's friend very shortly after he died. CBS and Gayle King found it appropriate to interrogate one of his mourning friends, Lisa Leslie, into trying to, kind of convict him of being a rapist after he's dead, even though, this was a situation that, that took place 17 years ago. And shortly after he dies, now you want to try to make him look like a bad guy for ratings, to ruin his legacy. I don't know. I don't really know about that one because he's 17 years is a fairly long time. That's almost 2 decades. You could have tried to put him out on blast. So I mean, naturally, I'm going to question your intentions right away. I mean, it's a dead giveaway. It's is Gayle King the one to blame, or is the people pulling her strings? I don't know. So and I try not to pick a side. I mean, I grew up obviously idolizing Kobe Bryant, but I try not to pick a side. What's right is right. What's wrong is wrong. But I see what I see as a black man in America historically black men in America haven't been portrayed fairly in the media. So I guess I'm just supposed to think that that has changed all of a sudden, just because you have a couple token black guys who assimilate however they see fit to fit within the structure that will allow them to prosper and not people that look like them. So then you can have somebody like Oprah Winfrey and Gayle King to turn their backs on people who look like them because in their minds they obviously don't need them. And I don't want to get too much into that. The thing that I really want to speak on, because I would love to leave this conversation alone, to be honest with you. But the thing that I would want to speak on is that Snoop Dogg's response was kind of along the lines of something that one may consider, even myself, reason why I'm making this video, over the top. Now, it's not because I ain't afraid to hear some gangster shit and hear people tell it how it is. But what happens is, here we are infuriated that this black woman is trying to incriminate a dead black man who just died. Here we have this happening. We're infuriated by it. And then a response of somebody who meant well, we talking Snoop Dogg, he comes back a little harder as far as the delivery, the impact, got America all feared. I mean, all scared and and shaking, holding on to shaking in their boots, holding on to every perceived, uh, you know, um, every perceived intention behind the words that have been spewed, and thus solidifying the black man as evil and a predator and things like that. But be, and so because of his response was deemed to be very, it was like an attack, and like I said, it was over the top to me. It was something like called her a name and said we gonna get you and stuff like that. And right then and there, at that point, we talking chess, guys. There's a reason why I'm bringing this up. It seems so subtle, but right then and there, when the response got too loud for people to even focus on what the response was to, that's when momentum shifted. That was the deflection. Now it's, oh my God, how dare he say such a thing to her? That was a wicked thing. Everybody pay attention to what this guy right here is saying. Fuck what he responded to. Everybody pay attention to this because this was worse. How dare you, black man? You're supposed to protect this woman and now you're trying to attack her. And all women who look like her. So, and because of that, now you're forced to apologize. When you're forced to apologize to save endorsements, to save face, to whatever it may be, or just because you want to leave that behind you, you look like you were the guilty party to begin with. That makes it even worse. So now the conversation is even more about this man being disrespectful in his response or reaction, as opposed to what the uproar was about in the first place. Blink and you'll miss it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this has happened in my personal life where I felt wronged and I couldn't let it go. So I had to take it to another level, and then I look like the bad guy. That person's off the hook. I snapped. I'm apologizing because I'm like, damn, I went too fucking hard. Boom. Caught in the trick bag. Guys, let me tell you something. Black guys, let me especially tell you something. You have to treat, if you don't know how to play chess, first of all, pick up the game. But until then, in between then, and as you start to get some skill under your belt, guys, treat things like it's chess. All right, it's the reason why they say chess, not checkers. People who don't play obviously don't understand as much as somebody who does play. All right, so you have to understand the potential consequences that may come with who you are. Like myself, when I present myself to the world, people could try to tell me about my existence and how I have things maybe working for my favor or how things aren't so bad for me and people who look like me. They may say those things, but the fact of the matter is I have to maneuver as if I know myself better than anybody else knows me, because that is true. I have to play the game exactly how I see it. I have to know the rules. All right. So if I feel like I'm public enemy number one, then I have to move differently. Even if I don't agree with who's running the country, if I don't believe with how the country's been run, if I think it's trash, if I think that it's very hypocritical, or if I think it's a very scary place for people who look like me, I have to play the game as if I am going to live a long time. Now, what that means is I have to think in terms of legacy. I got to think in terms of what's going to allow me to stay alive for as long as possible, without playing it safe, because I need an adventure. I need things to happen. And so you don't want to, and this may seem like a small thing, what I'm talking about right now, when we're talking about deflection, but it's a great example. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to look past these moments where your reaction took away from what you were supposed to be responding to. You always want to have the attention focused on the opposer. The more time the opposer stays in the light, the more attention it's going to get, the more scrutiny. I guess the bigger the punishment, you would think, ideally. All right, so this is where something like Stoicism comes into play, where you learn how to stay even, stay cool, stay centered, and you treat good news like you treat bad news, meaning you give it some time to sit before you just react to it, because it could be anything. You know what I'm saying? You have to prepare yourself for sudden things like that, sudden happenings. And because this world is so uncertain to begin with, you have to. How do I say this in a world that's unpredictable? Is that you have to predict that something unpredictable can and will happen, because I mean, it happens all the time, man. It really does. It just, in some way, we are used to unpredictable things. We just don't notice it because we're so used to it. You know what I'm saying? So thus, it becomes predictable. You just can't pinpoint what's going to happen. But some things that you can expect to happen at a time like this is that people will always seem to gravitate towards what gets the most attention, both negative and positive. So, again, if all eyes are on me because of my response that came off a little bit harder than what I was responding to, then people aren't even paying attention to what I'm responding to. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, you can count on that. All right. So, but with that being said, I'm about to go ahead and end this one right now, because I'm gonna just start up a new live stream and talk about something else. But you gotta look out for things like that. Anything that could get you kind of trapped, or have you looking like have you going under a little bit like it's quicksand. You have to watch out for those potential things, man. It happens very fast. Like I said, blinking, you miss it. All right, so I'll talk to y'all later, very soon, in a couple seconds, when I figure out what I'm gonna talk about next. All right, guys.